Alright, so in this problem, 707-108, it is a checkpoint problem for applying trig ratios and Pythagorean theorem. So again, remember when we hit checkpoint problems, it's kind of telling you should be able to do these no problem. If you can't, you can go back to the checkpoint in the back of the book and practice doing some problems. And it would also be a good time if you can't do these to come see me so I can give you some help. So there are, looks like 4 problems here that we're going to do. So in this first problem, what we want to solve is we want to find the perimeter of this. So we know that perimeter is going to be not P, but S1 plus S2 plus S3 plus S4. And we can see that we have 5 plus 8 plus S4, we don't know. So we've got 18 plus S4. And so we need to figure out what this side over here is. And what we can do is we can use right triangle. We know from here to here is 5. So then that means this has to be 3. And then we know this is 5 right here because we know this distance. So I can figure out what this length is by doing 3 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. So 9 plus 25 equals c squared. And so that ends up being 34 equals c squared. And then we take the square root. So this fourth side is 18 plus the square root of 34. This is an exact answer, and we want to convert it to a decimal, so that would be 18 plus the square root of 34, which is 23.8, looks like inches. The next problem, they want us to solve for x here. So when I see this and I see this is 30, this angle here is 35 degrees, I have opposite side and then I have the adjacent side, and so I think of SOHCAHTOA. So I know that the tangent of 35 is equal to x over 10, and then I can multiply, and so I get 10 times the tangent of 35 equals x. So make sure your calculator is in degree mode, and times 10. So x ends up equaling 7.0, and that would be yards. Alright, for C here, it looks like we want to solve for x, and so analyzing what I have, this is the hypotenuse, and this would be the adjacent side. So I ask myself what has opposite and adjacent, and that would be cosine. So the cosine of x equals 60 over 150. And what you have to remember is I want the angle. So then x equals inverse cosine 60 divided by 150. And so inverse cosine would be 60 divided by 150. And so x would equal 66.4 degrees. And that would be our angle. And then the last problem we want to do here is it says Juanito is flying a kite at the park and realizes that all 500 feet of string are out. Margie measures the angle of the string with the ground using her clinometer and finds it to be 42 degrees. How high is Juanito's kite above the ground? Draw a diagram and use the appropriate trigonometric ratio. Alright, so basically what we have here is we have a kite. That's a horrible kite. Let's try that again. We have a kite flying in the air, and all the string is out, and we know that there is 500 feet of string, and and the clinometer says that the string makes a 42-degree angle with the ground, and we want to find out how high the kite is. So when I look at this triangle, I see that this is the opposite side from the angle, and I see that this is the hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse is sine 42 degrees equals h over 500. And we want to solve for h, so I multiply both sides by 500. So I get 500 sine 42. So sine 42 equals times 500 equals, and the height of the kite is 334.6 feet.